Hi everyone, we've got a little road trip today in the Tesla. This is going to be the first time I'm going to do 100 miles or more in one sitting. Let's see how we get on. You may very well have seen my other road trip that I did in the Audi Q4 e-tron when we went down to Southampton, and I worked out which was best, whether to take the car's advice on where to charge or to work it out myself. I'm not going to do that on this trip. I'm just going to literally plumb in my destination and work it from the supercharging network, and we're going to have a little look to see how easy that is compared to the Audi. Now, we have got 100% charge, and what we're going to do is find out how economical this Model 3 is. All I've got to do, I've got to move one of the cars out of the way so we can get out, and then we'll be on our way. So where are we going today? Well, I'm off to Rufford Mill and Rufford Ford. You may very well have seen some videos on this from Ben Gregor's. I've been in touch with Ben a couple of times. I actually asked him last night what the Ford was going to be like today. We've had a little bit of rain and it's pretty deep. I've got a message back from him early this morning. He must have been out pretty early as well to send me the picture. I think it was just after 5 in the morning. But anyway, what it is, it's effectively a Ford or some water running across the road. You may very well have seen some of Ben's videos. Cars get stuck in there, they drive when it's far too deep, and they're forever getting towed out. So I've said for a while that I was going to nip across and go and have a little look at it, so that's what we're doing today. That is going to be in another different video. All we're going to concentrate on today is the road trip and see how my first longer trip in the Tesla works out. So we've got 2 hours 9 minutes according to the navigation and 122 miles. I might actually change the route myself, to be fair. I might head through the Peak District and go and have a little look and see whether we can get some better scenery. Anyway, let's get there. Now, many of you will know how I'm going to drive already. I'm not going to try and eke every single mile out of this car and out of charge. That's probably another video in itself to see how much economy it can get from this Tesla, but I'm just going to drive normally today. I'm going to be using the autopilot. I'm going to have a little bit of an experiment with that because I haven't used it loads. Again, I'm not going to document that today. We're literally today just getting ourselves to Rufford Ford and just seeing what this car's like on a longer road trip. So I've rerouted my journey. We're going to take a little trip. I'm just heading up near Manchester Airport, and I'm going to nip across the Peak District, so we should have some little bit nicer roads rather than these mundane motorways. So I'm just heading down towards the A57, which stretches across the Peak District. It looks as though we've got some pretty cloudy weather as well, so it'll be interesting driving. The first, how long have we been going? Maybe hour. The first hour has honestly been really comfortable. The Tesla is such a nice place to be, even compared to the Audi that I did the other road trip in. The new menu screen that has just been updated, I think it was Christmas time, I think it was Boxing Day a few days ago. It takes a little bit of getting used to. That's something that you do have to be mindful of when you're travelling on especially unknown roads as well, is looking at these screens. So a little grumble about that, but overall the journey's been really good. It looks as though we've been quite economical as well, but only time will tell. We might have some slopes to deal with up here. These roads are more like it. I'm glad I took the scenic route. Honestly, adjusting my route to head across the Peak District rather than sitting a boring motorway has made it interesting and actually enjoyable. I've I've rarely had an enjoyable drive. I can't actually remember the last time I did actually go out and just enjoy myself in a car, which is a shame. But today I'm really happy that I've taken this route. We've got about an hour left of the journey. It's going to take a little bit longer, but sometimes for me that's a better option. What do you think? Well, it looks as though we're reaching the summit. My ears have just popped and we're virtually in the clouds, so it's downhill all the way after this, I would have thought. As I get closer to Rufford Ford, I find that the acceleration of an electric vehicle and my Tesla can catch people out. You've got to be careful of this. Oh. Ooh. So I'm here at my destination. Well, I'm maybe half a mile or so away. I'm just sat in a local McDonald's. I've done 107 miles. The trip itself has been really comfortable. I did say a little bit earlier on that I've not enjoyed a drive like that in years, and it's all down to the roads, first of all, that I chose to go on. I'm glad I didn't pick the motorway, but also the Tesla Model 3 is a really comfortable place to be. I've used a few of the systems in a little bit more detail, which has been interesting. I'm going to do another video on a few more of the systems, well, a few videos on a few of the systems in the near future. Now, what I've done, I changed the route, as you know. I picked my own route, and it started off by saying I was going to arrive here with 39% of the charge, and this is an important point, I think, as well. I've taken a little bit of a shorter journey, but it's taken me a longer time. But have a little look at the battery level. Now we're here, 58%. So 107 miles, and I've used 42% of the battery. I am going to do a little bit of a different route on the way home. I'm probably going to go on the motorway because I want to put in some supercharging on the way back, although I could probably get back home if I obviously took the same route and drove in the same manner. I could probably get back home on that, but we're going to have a little look at a little bit more motorway stuff, because it would be a little bit unfair if I did the road trip in the Audi, mainly motorway stuff, and then just did country roads in the Tesla. So we're going to get a nice comparison if we go back on the motorway. So that's what we're definitely going to do, and we'll pick this up on the way home. I'll leave a link in the description of my experience at Rufford Ford. If you haven't seen the video already, check it out. Nearly got me. So that's me done at Rufford Ford. I'm going to make my way home now. I've had a little bit of fun, got a little bit of a soak in as well. But anyway, what I'm going to do is put in my home address into the navigation. I think it's going to send me back on the motorway, and I'm going to see whether I can do a little bit of charging on the way home. So here we go. Okay, that's pretty good. It's taken me up the A1M. I know that little route. And then we've got a supercharger for about 15 minutes. Perfect. Let's get going. So I was saying my journey should be 2 hours 2 minutes, so it's a little bit quicker. However, it's a little longer, and we've got to have a little splash and dash at Burton Wood services. From a nice enjoyable journey on the way out to driving up the A1, forgot just how bad and soul destroying this road is. I must admit though, it's made a lot easier with the Teslas. Not autopilot, I'm not using full autopilot, but just the adaptive cruise control, and honestly just sat behind a lorry, maximum distance, letting everyone try and push and queue. It's still quite chilled, but honestly, I think I'd rather take the same route that I did on the way out. Now I've got to put up with the M62 on the way home. The car's changed its mind. We're now heading to the superchargers at Leeds. Is that because my speed is now up at motorway speeds and it's realising maybe I won't get as much charge out of it? Now this has gone up to 28%. Is that by the time I get home? And is that because I'm now stopping at a supercharger? Maybe. Anyway, we'll do as the car says. Okay, here we are at the Tesla supercharger. There are a couple of shops just around the corner. I'm going to try and nip out and go to the loo while we're on charge. I'm not sure how long. It said estimated charging time for about 15 minutes, so we'll see what goes on. So straight away we're up to 116, 117 kilowatts. The fastest we got out of the Audi at the Shell station was 81 kilowatts. So honestly, I'm going to quickly nip the loo, go and grab another coffee, and we'll be done shortly. So I've been and gone and got a coffee and had a loo break. I've got less than 5 minutes before I'm going to unplug and get going again. The light's fading now. It's, what's the time? It's 3:45. So I'm going to struggle recording much decent footage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do all the sums, I'm going to charge it up when I get home and make some comparisons between this trip and the one that I did in the Audi.
The first half of my trip, as I've said, was 107 miles. On the way home it was a little longer at 125. So in total we travelled 232 miles. I added 15.2 kilowatt hours at Leeds, and it took another 48.6 kilowatt hours to get back to 100% once I was home. So in total the whole trip used 63.8 kilowatt hours. Now this was way more economical than the Audi. The Q4 e-tron worked out at 2.95 miles per kilowatt hour, yet my Tesla was able to achieve 3.64 miles per kilowatt hour. The Tesla superchargers are the cheapest charging network that I've found on my travels up to now, and they're 28 pence per kilowatt. If I hadn't been able to use some of my 1,000 free supercharger miles because I used a referral code, that stop at Leeds would have cost me £4.26. So even if I'd used supercharging for the whole of my trip and I'd had to pay for it, it would have only cost £17.86 for the whole journey. And this works out at only 7.7 pence per mile, whereas my actual trip cost with home charging and the free supercharger miles cost only £8.21 or 3.53 pence per mile.
Thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you next time.